Hey there, O'Grady here. Today we're talking about something that might just change the way you think about your retirement savings. It's called the 25 times expenses rule. A little guideline that can help you figure out if you're on track for a comfortable retirement. Yeah, you might be thinking, great, another complicated financial rule to wrap my head around. But not this one. Easy as pie, as the kids say. In fact, it's so simple, you'll wonder why you haven't been using it all along. So what exactly is this 25 times expenses rule? Well, pretty much like it sounds. The rule suggests that you should save 25 times your annual expenses before you retire. That's it. No calculators, no complex calculations, no fancy math, no future values of a present sum. Just take what you spend in a year and multiply it by 25. For example, if you spend $40,000 a year, according to this rule, you'd want to have $1 million saved up before you retire. That's the 40 grand times 25. If you spend 60 grand a year, well, what would that be? 25 times $60,000, 1.5 million. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, that sounds like a lot of money. And it is, but this isn't just to cover 1 year of expenses, it's to cover your entire retirement. So where on earth did this rule come from? I haven't heard a financial planner talk about this. Did they just pull it out of thin air? Well, not exactly. The 25 times rule is based on something called the 4% rule, and you might have heard of that. It's been around in financial planning, well, since the early 90s. So it's the inverse of the 4% rule. If you recall, the 4% rule suggests that if you withdraw 4% of your retirement savings in your first year of retirement, and then adjust that amount for inflation every year after, your money should last for 30 years or more. Now, here's where the magic happens. Just flip that around. The 4%, well, you get 25. That 40 grand example, multiplying that by 25 got you to $1 million. What's 4% of $1 million? Well, there's your 40 grand. So 25 is the number you multiply your annual expenses by to get that amount you need to save. So two sides of the same coin. All right, so now that we know what the rule is and where it comes from, let's talk about how to actually use it. First, you got to figure out your annual expenses. Then multiply that number by 25. And then just compare it to your current savings. Are you short or have you already blown through that number? All right, let's say you and your spouse spend about $50,000 a year. According to the 25 times rule, you'd save, or you'd want to save, $1.25 million before you retire. Now take a look at your current retirement savings. Are you at $1.25 million? Are you close? Or did you blow by that? Well, don't worry if you still have a shortfall. We'll talk about what to do if you're falling short in just a bit. Now, it's just a rule of thumb. The 25 times rule isn't perfect. So here are some of its strengths and, of course, its weaknesses. First, the pros. Simple. Just multiply by 25. Simple and easy to understand. It gives you a clear target to aim for. 25 times? Okay, I can handle that. It takes into account your actual lifestyle, not some arbitrary income replacement percentage. You hear a lot about those when doing financial plans. Yeah, we're going to figure we'll spend 70% of what we made when we were working, or let's use 80% in this financial plan. This doesn't do that, based on actual expenses. All right, the downside or the cons, it doesn't account for other sources of retirement income like Social Security or if you have a pension. And it's assuming your expenses will stay the same in retirement, which, as we know, is not always the case. And it doesn't consider factors like inflation or market performance. Now, some of you might be thinking and looking at that 25 times number and feeling a bit overwhelmed, like 25 times, man, that's a big chunk of money. There's no way you can save that much before retirement. Well, don't panic. Remember, it's just a guideline, not a hard and fast rule. So if you're falling short, here's a few things to consider. increase your savings rate. Yeah, you hear that one all the time, but it's true. Even small increases can make a big difference over time. Or delay retirement. Maybe work a few extra years. That will boost your savings, and your Social Security will be even bigger when you decide to take that. Reduce your expenses. Look for areas where you can cut back now and in retirement. And you can consider a part-time gig when you're in retirement. That can help stretch your savings even further. The 25 times expenses rule, yeah, simple way to get a ballpark figure, ballpark, for your retirement savings goal. Remember though, it's just one tool in a financial planning toolbox. Your situation might call for more or less savings. And you could consider working with a financial advisor or a financial planner to create a personalized retirement plan that fits your unique situation and your goals. They can account for things like Social Security, pensions, healthcare costs, and other factors that the 25 times rule doesn't take into consideration. Remember, it's never too late to start planning for retirement, so why not get started now? In the meantime, I'll see you in the next episode.